Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. And we welcome you to another exciting day of Build Your Best Life 2026 Educational Symposium. Our theme for this symposium is Learning Today, Leading Tomorrow. And of course, you know, our illustrious host for this conference, Coach Deborah Smith. And we are just so excited. Hopefully you've been joining in. This is our third night, and we've had exciting topics and exciting speakers, God. So on Monday night, we had Education Opens Doors by Linda Wright Patrick. Tuesday night, we had Creating Your Personal Success Plan by Sheila Walker. And I guarantee you on tonight, you are going to be elated as you have been for the past two nights. We're going to have Exploring Career Paths by Dr. Cynthia Smith. So we thank you so much for joining in this evening to our 2026 Educational Symposium. Again, you know what? I need you to do something. At this moment, I need you to click on and share, and invite persons that you know will enjoy this broadcast on this evening. So as we always do on Build Your Best Life, we are going to, we start off all our things with prayer. So of course we're going to pray, and then I'm going to introduce your speaker tonight, Dr. Cynthia Smith, and we're going to get right into this topic. So if everyone to bow your heads, dear Heavenly Father God, we just thank you for this day, God. We thank you, God, for allowing us, God, to be a part of what Build Your Best Life is doing, God, here on earth, God. We ask, God, on this evening, as we have on the other 2 nights, God, to be enlightened, God, by this topic on tonight, God. We ask, God, that you continue to set aside, God, what Build Your Best Life is supposed to be, God, on earth, God, and to touch, God, those that need to be touched by each and every topic as we are doing on tonight, God. We thank you, God, for this 2026 Educational Symposium, God, and let it be, God, through these nights, God, that someone will learn something, God, and be able to use it, God, to build their best life. We thank you, God. We love you, God. And we ask these prayers in your darling son, Jesus' name and for his sake. This is so. Amen. So thank you so much. Again, our speaker tonight, Dr. Cynthia Smith. She is going to be talking about exploring career paths. And you're saying, well, who's Dr. Cynthia Smith? I'm glad you asked, because I'm going to tell you that. In the word domino, were a person, it would be Dr. Cynthia Smith. She is a native of Jacksonville, Florida. Dr. Smith has built a career on turning no's into nobody can stop me. After graduating from Andrew Jackson High School on the Jacksonville East Side, Dr. Smith completed education and curriculum degrees at the University of North Florida with honors. As a first-generation college graduate, Dr. Smith kept going, eventually earning a doctorate from Nova Southeastern University and achieving this feat before turning 40, while working full-time and managing her active family. Dr. Smith's dissertation focused on about young men of color and college completion. Dr. Smith has a proven legacy of impact from mentoring at-risk youth in reading, writing, and math to promote high school completion to achieving district records for improvement in statewide test scores to leading dramatic schools turnaround teams in some of the Jacksonville's most challenging communities. Disillusioned as she waited for a much-deserved school principal role, Dr. Smith decided to transition her talents to early learning, launching early learning centers. When her beloved child care facility burnt down, Dr. Smith pivoted, purchasing and renovating 2 buildings across from her high school, launching Minds of the Future Academy, and establishing a multi-campus STEAM BBK through second grade private school. She spurred an economic renaissance in East Jacksonville, mentoring other Black-owned business owners throughout the community. Dr. Smith continues to consult and is a serial entrepreneur, launching an event space and expanding the school to offer K-12 and after-school enrichment. Dr. Smith is a proud mom to LJ, one of the hottest DJs in Aubrey, wife to Dan, and inspiration to all. I am going to introduce to some and those that may already know her, Dr. Cynthia Smith. Let's welcome her this evening.
Hello, thank you, Miss Tanya. That was an amazing introduction. Every time I hear it, I'll be like, is that really me? And I also want to definitely give love to Coach Deborah, my mother-in-law, for just having me on her platform. Like, that's so amazing. And anytime I get the opportunity to do so, I'm going to be here. I'm going to add every single time I hear my bio being read. That bio is old, actually. It's 3 years old. I've done so much more since then, but I actually love that bio, even though I can add to it. But the part that I love the most is hearing, waited for the role to be a principal. I waited for that position. It never came. And so what I did was everything after you have read about my bio is what I've done, and I've added so much more. So it kind of really goes right into my topic today, which is education for education, open doors, discovering your path to success. So it's very important. Education, open doors, the semicolon, discovering your path to success. I think about my own experiences, and anytime I'm giving the opportunity to speak, I'm sharing my own experiences merged in with some of the things that I have on the agenda to talk about. So the topic itself, education open doors, all the doors that I went through, I had to have some education. I like to think back to my experiences of when I was teaching high school. Shout out to Andrew Jackson High School, the first high school I worked at, straight out of college with a bachelor's degree at that time in psychology. I graduated from University of North Florida, and I thought I'm going to go and be a psychologist with a bachelor's degree. When I got out of college, I thought I'm going to be a psychologist with a bachelor's degree. I went to school 4 years, only to find out when I'm looking at job postings, you have to have a master's degree. I'm getting to somewhere here. So I say, well, I'm going to enroll right back in school because I really want to be a psychologist. So I'm going to enroll to get my master's degree. While I was getting my master's degree, I was teaching at Andrew Jackson High School. And while I'm teaching, I'm also learning things that I realized I didn't know. I'm also understanding that, okay, you really don't want to be a psychologist. I started asking myself, my 22-year-old self, why is it that you did not know a lot of the things that you needed to know before you went to school 4 years? For example, knowing what a psychologist does, knowing the education needed to be a psychologist, were just the two top things for me. Because I have this, at that time, this bachelor's degree. And it's like, okay, I didn't even really know the difference between the AA, AS, BA, BS, MA, and a doctoral degree. I had no idea what the differences were. I just enrolled in school because someone told me that, like, that's what I want. That's what I wanted to do. So I knew that's what I needed to do. So, with that being said, I learned a lot. And at that time, teaching as a young teacher, I was learning that I'm going to teach children at that age in high school not to fall or go down the path that I did. I'm going to teach them as much as I can because I feel like, how did I miss that? Why didn't anybody teach me that? And then I started thinking back, who was supposed to teach me that? And then it helped me understand a lot better my path. So moving on with that particular journey, I ended up getting that master's degree. And by the time I got that master's degree 2 years later, I didn't want to be a psychologist anymore. I wanted to be a mental health therapist, which the job posting said that you can be a mental health therapist with a master's degree. Well, I got the master's degree, and I think that I was a mental health therapist for less than a year. And I decided I didn't want to do that anymore because that wasn't fun. That wasn't what I thought it was going to be. That wasn't exciting for me. And I end up going back to being a teacher. So the 5 talking things that I'm going to share today with you all is we're going to talk to to students. I call the young people students because I'm still in education. And we're going to talk to the parents. We're going to drop some knowledge on the parents. For the students, the first thing, education creates opportunities. Okay? Education creates opportunities. Education creates opportunities. A student want to study engineering in college, but don't really know exactly what career path to take. You have got to make sure that you educate yourself. How do we educate ourselves, Dr. Cynthia? We educate ourselves by utilizing the resources around us, looking around us and utilizing those resources. At that time, for me, I can remember WorkSource. I really don't know what is really the WorkSource now. I think it's a career path place and gateway, but WorkSource. going into the career center at your college or university. I have a college student right now, and I encourage him all the time to go to the career center, go in there, learn about different careers. I encourage you to get internships and make sure that you are learning on those internships, understanding that the internship doesn't always have to be paid because the reward is greater. So education creates opportunities. While you're getting the education, you're opening the doors for opportunities. So how I became the mental health therapist immediately following my master's degree is because I ended up interning in my last semester at a substance abuse rehabilitation center. And I went there and I thought I actually loved it, but I realized I loved the money because I was a contract employee. So I loved the money, just as much as I actually found joy in the job. And I want to add in here because I know it's somewhere in my points here that people at that time used to tell me that about gotta do what makes you happy, or some people say you want to make a lot of money. You can do what makes you happy and you can make a lot of money. Back at that time, I thought it was an or, it wasn't an and. So, or you choose one. And when I learned the and, then I was able to find what brought me happiness and what was going to make me a lot of money. Because at the end of the day, our young people, that if you're on here listening, we want to wake up rich tomorrow. We want to graduate high school today and wake up rich tomorrow. Some of us don't even, haven't even got to the point probably of graduating high school, but we want to just be rich tomorrow. The only way that you're going to do that is by creating educational opportunities for yourself. And sometimes when you hear education, you are probably thinking, oh my goodness, reading, writing, math, science that you don't like, right? But education goes far beyond. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm actually known as the educated entrepreneur. I teach people anything that you want to know, get educated in it. Education is the one thing that no one can take away from you. So I am a school principal, founder, and a CEO of a business, right? Can't nobody outwork me in my business. If there is something that I need to learn in order to run my business, I'm going to learn it. So I teach my staff that never stop learning. You should continue learning, never stop learning. So because it creates opportunities for you. Education builds knowledge and skills. I love this. It builds knowledge and skills. That's another one thing that no one can take away from you. Now, there may be some people out there that can maybe unravel a lock better than you really quickly, but that's a skill that you have. So get the skill every single day. It teaches you a lot about management. It teaches you a lot about how to navigate problems. Education builds knowledge, and I love that. I think that is so important. And the third thing, education increases confidence. So here at Minds of the Future Academy, where I'm the CEO, principal, and founder, uh, our students come in a lot of times very shy, don't really have the confidence. I just did an interview with my college student, and I asked him, if you were placed in a room for 5 minutes with five billionaires, what is your elevator speech? What is your elevator speech? You can't go in there and be shy. You can't go in there and have confidence because you don't know these people. You've got to network. You've got to have your elevator pitch. These people need to know who you are. Why should they invest in you? If someone is giving you the opportunity, riding an elevator, you never know who's in the elevator with you, saying hello, how are you? What do you do? Nice to meet you. So making sure that you have your intros, your outtakes readily available. But right now is the time to build your confidence. Let's just say, for example, I have students here, a lot of students here that's interested in the robotics. Okay. We have a partnership with other robotics teams around Jacksonville, Florida. We also go to robotics competitions. I picked the shyest student to go up in front of the judges and explain loud and clear what it is that they have built. Now, parents are amazed. They're like amazed. Oh my God, you turned my child's life around. Parents, are you listening? This is very important. A shy student can learn public speaking and become confident enough to give presentations. A shy student can learn to greet a visitor coming into a business. These are lifelong skills that will go along with them a long ways. And to be honest, I just had this conversation today with my staff because I explained to them if I'm walking in the building with visitors, I need you to say hello, how are you? Welcome to Minds of the Future. Make eye contact. That is a part of increasing confidence. Start these things now at home because you never know who can open doors for you and create your opportunity. Building and increasing your confidence is a piece of an education creates opportunities. That's a piece of education. Okay. Education improves lives. I love this. Right now, sometimes, I had an orientation today. I had two parents to get up and walk out. This is real time that I'm giving you. I had two parents to get up and walk out today. And my director said, well, we have two that's not coming. And I asked them why they're not coming. They said it was just a little too much for them. You know what it is, that you're putting in place the policies. We're putting in place educational expectations. That's what we're putting in place. And we had two parents to get up and say, you know what, I'm just not gonna, it's not gonna work out. Educational excellence is what is required here. We demonstrate educational excellence. We encourage, ask people to come to Minds of the Future to visit our school so you can see educational excellence. Educational excellence is not getting your child to school at 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, 10:30. Educational excellence is not dropping them off in uniform, not being in uniform. Educational excellence is not dropping them off and not having a pencil and a piece of paper or a binder. And so those are the things that I was talking about, just FYI. So we had parents to get up and say, oh, it's a little too much. My expectation is if you do not have it, I'm calling you to come bring it. If you do not have it, they're not getting out the car. They're out of uniform. They have to stay with you. So no excuses because we don't want to encourage that in the lives of these children. Education improves lives. If you're going to start with that, then we have to make sure that we are educating them, those children, now at the age that they are. Education improves lives. That means that we want to make sure that we're giving them the best education that they have. My school was just fully accredited June of this year. And although it was a lot of work, I asked the accreditation committee, how is this going to help my school? Because when I got to the end of it, I was like, I feel like I did all the work. So how is this going to help my school? And they said, Dr. Cynthia, when your students go and apply at Ivy League colleges and university, you have the highest seal of accreditation. So your school can compare to the other schools with high seals of accreditation, and your students have a better option of getting into universities and colleges. And then I didn't listen anymore because that was just the best thing ever for our educator to hear, that my students can compare to the rest of the students. So we're talking about education, improving a life. We're talking about if you're a nurse, you get a stable job, you supporting your family. It's longevity, it's a life cycle. But let me not start on that because that's a whole nother conversation. Education helps change the world. I have this campaign, and I must shout this out. I think I said this. I think I told my father-in-law this, but I don't know if he actually relayed the message. One Sunday, I visited St. Paul Church. I went to the church, and the bishop wasn't there, but he did a video to the congregation. And I don't remember exactly what the video was, what he was, I don't remember what he was saying today, but I remember it had something to do with education. And he was encouraging the church to participate and support. And right there in the church, I created this entire campaign. Education matters, right? Seriously, you can go to my website, drsmithjacks.com. And I designed shirts. I know I was listening in church, guys, but I designed the shirt in the church. I designed the slogan. I designed the purpose of it, right? And the mission behind it was every child, no matter the zip code, deserve a future worth fighting for. So I said, oh my goodness, I was getting chills. I'm like, maybe this is going to go somewhere. Maybe it's not. One thing about it, when you are creating an opportunity for yourself, or building knowledge, again, our students and even adults in the world want to wake up rich, but you have to be willing to put in the work, right? So I'm like, well, maybe this is going to go somewhere. Maybe it's not. Maybe it will. You never know. Just like a reel that I post on social media. I can think it's the most terrible reel in the world. But guess what? It'll be the one that got over 10,000 views. I don't know how that happens. So education helped change the world. That's where I came from with this slogan, education matters. These t-shirts. So I ended up putting the shirts on the website. Oh my goodness, they sold out. I was like, oh my, people really care. Just most recently, I went to the Essence Festival. It's 3 days of vending at Essence Festival. Day one sold out of the shirts. I'm like, well, maybe I'm on to something. But I'm saying that to say that education matters. That campaign was created based on this fifth principle here, which is education helps change the world. Education does help change the world. That's why it's important. Every adult in this world has an obligation to ensure that our young people are getting the education that they deserve. Education opens doors because it gives knowledge, it helps with skills, it creates confidence for our future ready leaders. And it gives them an opportunity to have a better life. I remember every time, well, not even I remember, but every time that I'm pretty much on any panel, I get asked a question. When did you know you were an educator? Or what was your, like, why did you decide to be an educator? Or um, those types of questions make me think back to my childhood. And so for me, I always did not want to be an educator. Friends that I've gone to school with and grew up with and still friends today, they said from their memory, I told them I was going to be a teacher. I don't remember that. I just remember my family always telling me, you better do something in computers because that's what's making money, or what was going to make money, because I graduated during the time where computers were becoming a big thing, right? So for the way I always answer that question was because I grew up in an impoverished area, high crime, and so I saw a lot of drug dealers. I saw my environment, and I did not ever believe you had to be a product of your environment. As a matter of fact, I looked at my environment and I decided I was not going to follow the road that was placed before me. But I had teachers, and I always saw teachers as a motivational roadmap for me and a guide to help me. So education helped me be who I am today. And I know that this is a stream, but I want to be realistic. When I was teaching at Andrew Jackson High School, I used to have students in there that did not want or care about education. I used to have to understand how to move them from not wanting to read in my classroom a book about Emmett Till to becoming highly engaged a book about Emmett Till. I used to have to tell them you can't come here and sleep. I used to have to be realistic with them. I would tell them, if you're going to be a banker, you got to know how to count money. If you're going to go to the store, you have to know how to count money. I used to get as deep as, if you're going to be a drug dealer, you need to know how to count money, because that's what resonated with them. I was not encouraging that, but education matters. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're the trash man, you need some sort of education. Janitorial on up to an architect, you need some sort of education. So that is the 5 points that I want to share. But I also have the next piece of that for me was education. Education open doors. However, you have to discover your path, multiple pathways. So some of the points that I have here is for students, I already mentioned going to the career centers in your neighborhood or on school campuses, join clubs and activities, volunteer in the community. Volunteerism, I used to have this student named Winston Seabrooks. If anybody know Winston, tell him I'm here on this stream and I'm giving him a kudos because, and all my students know what kudos mean. That's the highest honor, right? So volunteering in the community. Winston could have been, he was a junior at a high school that I was teaching at. Winston could have been, honestly, I'm gonna go as far as the mayor of city of Jacksonville. He stayed intrigued in politics. And I just was so amazed. A 16, 17-year-old student volunteering heavily. He knew more than me, honestly, at that time about politics. And I was just amazed with what he knew. How did he know that? Because he volunteered. Education matters, but you have to go out and get it. You can make yourself, you can be the smartest person ever if you grab an education. That's what I always tell my students. Job shadowing and interning, as well as setting personal goals. I love this one, setting personal goals. So it's so important that you set yourself a goal. By March 2nd, 2027, I will have learned how to use ChatGPT. That's a big one because AI is running the world. I need to be invited back to talk about ChatGPT and AI. I'm telling you, because it's running the world. Create a roadmap, create a guide, make sure that your goals that you're setting are realistic. And this is my favorite last one, keep an open mind. Oh my goodness, keep an open mind. Okay. You can't be closed minded. The minute something doesn't go well, you're throwing it and you're kicking it out to the curb. You probably was just at your point to make it happen. You was probably just at the brink where it was gonna all go through, but you gave up. Okay. Um, this is what I keep on my desk. Okay. I don't know how well you can see this, but one of my teachers brought me this a couple years ago, and I just kept it on my desk because when things get tough for me, I look at this. It is a mustard seed. You see it? It is a mustard seed. Faith, the size of a mustard seed, keep an open mind. You have to keep an open mind when things are not going right, when they're going left. It seems like one day out of my week, sometimes things just go left all day. I have to look at this and say, faith, the size of a mustard seed, keep going. So that is my encouragement to you all. How can parents support their child's future? Exploring these pathways, getting their education, understanding education matter. Parents need to encourage curiosity. Those parents that got up and walked out of orientation today, I wasn't surprised. We have parents in this world on this live that do not have the faith and the belief in their children or in our community of children that they need to have. Encourage curiosity, support their strengths and support their weaknesses. I went to my mom when I could not, when I realized, okay, I don't think I'm ever going to be a principal because I'm waiting on this Duval County School District to select me to be a principal. And I went to my mom and I said, listen, everybody around me seemed like they have talents. And at that time, opening businesses, being entrepreneurs. I had a cousin that did nails. Another one over here went to the academy. Everybody doing something. I'm still in a role of an instructional coach at Rebound High School. And I said, I really want to be a principal. I really wanted to be it. I knew I was working hard. I knew I had the education. And sometimes you have to step out on faith because my favorite quote is you miss 100% of the shots you do not take, right? So with that being said, I asked my mom, I said, well, what can I do? Well, my mom said, well, what you good at? Okay. And I said, well, I don't know. I don't really think I'm good at nothing. She said, you are good at talking. And I said, well, I mean, I done been a therapist. I don't really like that because it was a mental challenging various moments for me. So I said, I don't really like that. And I realized I had a lot of education. What I loved is teaching. I didn't wait on anybody to open the doors for me. I opened the doors for myself with the support of others that I gained along the way. So, parents, support your child's strengths and their weaknesses. Celebrate their efforts and growth. Be supportive, not controlling. Be supportive. That's a difference. Be supportive. It's their dream, it's not yours. So if they have a vision to open a nail shop, support the vision, help them get the money, talk with them, give them advice, but don't be controlling. It's their dream, not yours. Teach responsibility though along the way. And sometimes, if you can't teach a responsibility or assist with a skill, guess what parents are responsible for doing? Connecting them with people that can help support their strengths. And last but not least, just continue to always promote a love of learning because I go right back to that life cycle. It's a life cycle in a sense of expectation for the future, for the current, we are the current, the students are the future. So there's a life cycle there. And remember that with exploration and support, every child, student has a potential. Even adults, we still have potential because I just moved into my new school and I'm excited about the new school year that is coming. But I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous at all. I waited 10 years for this. I'm just excited, but it's been a lot of challenges. So having that support of exploring and understanding education goes a long ways. And I'm Dr. Cynthia Smith. I want to thank y'all for having me and listening to me. And I hope you got something out of what I shared with you today. I can't hear you.
I am so sorry. I was on mute. I okay. So I think the one thing with your presentation that really caught me was one of your last statements, and of course, I am a curious soul, so I looked up to see a quote: "Curiosity keeps leading us down new paths," and you will not believe who wrote that quote, and that was Walt Disney. So
Oh,
his
wow.
curiosity in making sure that families have entertainment lived beyond him.
Yep. And you know what's so ironic? I love Walt Disney. I use Walt Disney to lead my trainings and Kathy Truitt as well. So I use Kathy Truitt, the founder of Chick-fil-A. The reason why I use both of them is because in my school, and I tell it is required that you come in here and treat this place like Disney World. I've never seen an angry adult or a child at Disney World unless they
Right.
buying the $10 Gatorade. But other than that, they are excited. Kathy Truitt at Chick-fil-A. People rather go to Chick-fil-A over McDonald's because of customer service. So I lead with that here in my organization. So yeah, that is that you did your research.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious. So I do have one question for you as we get ready to end things. So I heard you say in the beginning of your presentation that it's okay to change your mind in your career path. What do you encourage our young people, and even as we're getting into a new age, you talked about ChatGPT, for our parents? Why is that so important for to be okay for us to change our minds?
It is because you know for me I did it. I did it multiple times actually. Bachelor's degree, master's degree, doctorate degree. Bachelor's degree, I was a teacher. Master's degree, I was a mental health therapist. And doctorate degree, I was a school owner and founder. So it is okay and to keep changing your mind until you find what it is that you desire to do. I have a brother-in-law that has gone through multiple academies of educational and skills. He has a repertoire of everything that you can possibly think of. My my campaign is education matters. So it's really about getting education. As long as you're able to have an improved life, you can be anything you want to be. I really believe that.
Yes. I agree totally with you, and I honestly believe, especially with this platform that we're on now, Build Your Best Life. That is Coach Deborah's thing that she always wants us to, not only learn but to use those things to be the to be the better of us and to build our lives on that. So thank you so much for your things. Hopefully someone got something out of it. Again, like I said, my curiosity jumped when you said that. So I was looking up who might have opened these quotes, who was the originator of these quotes. So I'm like, okay, let me see. So it's so exciting. And we honestly pray for you that, whatever God continues to do for you in your life, that you will be able to give it to someone else. And I see that on you, that you're going to give it to some young person. And then for years later, some young person is going to say, Dr. Smith, I heard you. Yeah, I'm doing this as well.
Yes, I hope for sure.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that for sure.
Yes. So we're so grateful for your presentation on tonight. And you definitely gave us something to chew on. So thank you so much for that. And as we get ready to close, again, this is our third night on our 2026 Educational Symposium. So hopefully you will go back. Yes. And even because there's so much in what you said on tonight, Dr. Smith, that I got to go back and take some more notes.
Thank you.
To make sure that, because I have two young adults that everything that you talked about, I'm trying to make sure that they understand. And then also with me, I'm going into another phase of my life. So I need to make sure that education becomes important for myself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So thank you so much. And on tomorrow night, we have another exciting topic, skills for success. And Tiffany Britt is going to help us with that on tomorrow night. So let's join in for the last night of this 4-night educational symposium. We thank you so much for joining in tonight. And we hope that something that was said on tonight will help you build your best life. We thank you so much, and we know that because you joined in tonight, you got something to chew on for the rest of your life. Thank you so much, everyone, and we will see you on tomorrow night for our last night of this educational symposium. Have a great evening. We love you, and build your best life.